Perfect. Awesome.
Very good job.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
No problemo. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Julie. Welcome to the Gentle Yoga class. Today we're doing some work close to the floor. If you need to use a chair, you're more than welcome to do that. Just have to modify the movements, and that's fine and dandy. It would be a great idea if you had a blanket or two nearby. So if you have them somewhere in the room or in the couch, you can go get them. Any kind of blanket that you can fold will do. It's kind of nice to have at the very end of the practice for a little restoration, a little constructive rest using the blankets. Also, you can use them during practice if we're on all fours. You can open them out and pad your knees with them if that's something that you need to do. So blankets are a great thing to have. And they're great to sit up on if sitting on the floor is hard for you as well, like a cushion or whatever you might have. Place it on your mat or on the floor and sit the back edge of your bum up on that so that your the front bones of your hips roll downwards. It's kind of like your pubic bone would roll downward. And this can be done with your legs out if that's what you need to do, or with your legs crossed. We just don't want the pubic bone or the front hip bones to lift up and curl the back behind us. We want to come forward and let the sit bones roll down towards the floor. And that'll help your back stay in its neutral curve, your lower back, so it feels more comfortable. And today we're doing a small practice for back care, which I think is really important. Let's start with a few breaths. Seated, or you can lay down on your mat, on your back, if that's more comfortable for you than seated, to begin some breathing. There's many different types of breathing, but I just like to focus gently on the body that we're in right now and the way that we're already breathing. When we sit to breathe, we try to sit up tall, roll the shoulders back. We don't want to be too rigid, but we also don't want to be completely relaxed. So find a way to roll the shoulders back, lift up through the top of the ears, and just kind of let the body settle down against the support of the ground or the cushion or whatever you're sitting on. Place your hands wherever they are comfortable. We don't want to hunch forward, but we don't want to press the chest. It'll make us tired very quickly. Just rolling the shoulders up, back, and down, reaching up to the top of the ears should help you create that length in your spine. You can close your eyes if you like, or soften your gaze, looking a few feet forward on the floor. And feel your body breathing. You don't have to change it. Don't have to do anything with it or judge it. Just feel it. Feel the body sitting or lying on the floor. Notice the weight of it, the gravity, the lightness of the air upon your skin. During times like these, it's a great thing to let your mind rest upon your breath. And what does that mean? We can visualize with each in-breath and out-breath a hammock gently swaying. The hammock swings out as we inhale and gently swings back in as we exhale. And we can rest the mind in that hammock, that gentle sway that the breath is creating. Very often people visualize the tide rolling in and out, or there's many things that you can visualize. Resting the mind upon the breath in this gentle swaying hammock may be just the right thing for you today. We don't need to change the breath. We don't need to force the breath. It swings in, swings out, gently and naturally. Letting the belly be released, the shoulders soften away from the ears. Letting the mind rest upon the breath. If a thought comes in or there's a distraction of some sort, it's okay. Imagine that thought or distraction like a feather in your hand. Just open up your palm and let it float away. Come back to that feeling of the breath moving in and moving out, the gentle sway, ebb and flow, as the mind rests upon the breath. You can focus on something that you're very thankful and grateful for at this time. Something small, something big, anything. Notice the feeling that creates in the center of your chest. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes, acclimate to what you're seeing around you, the room, the colors, the sights. Great job. You can use that breath meditation, that hammock, anytime. Our minds are always going, especially during this difficult time for many of us. That's a great way to give your mind a break. We're going to do some gentle movements for the spine. We all want a strong spine and we want a supple spine. So seated, whether you're in a chair, on the floor, legs out or legs crossed, make some of those circles if you would, rotating the spine in the basin of the pelvis. So it's kind of like stirring a pot, the spine being a wooden spoon and the pelvis being the pot, in one direction or the other. You can go nice and slow. You can really rock across the bottom of your gluteal muscles, your back end. You can make this really big, you can rock and roll if you like, or you can make this very small, going in the opposite direction. Breathing is normal. Just nothing to worry about. Just breathe. Inhaling and exhaling, however that works for you. Come back to the center position, reaching up to the top of the ears. Inhale the arms up, and exhale the hands down the heart center. You can press gently with the palms, but not too crazy. Inhale up, and exhale, reaching up still to the tops of the ears, a long spine, celebrating the length of our spine. Take a little side bends here. Take the fingers to the sides of the hips, potted palm position. Reach up that right palm, lift that arm over. It's okay. The stretch is right in here on the side waist. Don't worry about the arm, the elbow. Inhale the other arm up and exhale over. So you're feeling some gentle stretches here. Inhale up. Doesn't have to be big. Your arm can be here or here. Doesn't have to go all the way overhead. Some of us have some issues of the tissue in the front of the shoulders, the front of the chest. We don't want to do anything that feels painful today. Anything that pulls on any tissues or any areas where you have some pain, some healing going on still. Be very gentle with your body. Your body today will interpret the yoga in whatever way works best for it. Listen to the body. Our mind chatters on and on and on, but the body, it'll tell us what we need to know when it's ready, right? And back to the center position. Awesome. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come to all fours so we can continue doing some movements for our spine to both strengthen it and to keep it supple. So let's come to all fours. If you know that the floor is hard on your knees, I mentioned before, you could use a blanket, a towel to just pad the knees. It's completely up to you, okay? I want you to be as comfortable as possible. With my arthritic knees, I don't tuck my toes under when I'm on my knees. I put the tops of my feet down. That moves the weight to the top of my shin off of the bony kneecap. Knees are about hips width apart. Wrists are slightly forward of the shoulders. Spread the fingers. Inner elbow creases look at each other. We're going to do some cat-cow stretches. Our spine loves these. Take an inhalation. Roll the shoulders back so the bottom tips of the shoulder blades drop down, down, down. Lift the tailbone up. Think about that tailbone area and let it be the leader for this stretch. Whatever the lower back does, your neck is going to want to do as well. So as the tailbone lifts, the head comes up gently, chest stretches. On the next inhalation now, we're going to tuck that tailbone, press through the hands, the base of the index finger and thumb, and arch our spine up towards the ceiling, and the head is going to relax down. Knees are underneath the hips. And then inhaling again, lifting up through the chest, lifting that tailbone. On the next inhale or exhale, whichever feels comfortable to you, cat pose, rounding the spine, painting the front of the waist up into the inside of the spine. You can inhale on one, like you can inhale on cow pose and exhale on cat pose. You can hold each one for a breath or two. Your version of these may be large or maybe small. It's completely up to how you're feeling today. And we're going to do the 6 movements of the spine. We want to keep our spine supple. It's really important that we keep it strong. Some of these movements are going to create some real strength through the spine, through the back body, along the spine. That will serve us going forward in anything that we do. And one more of each. You can always do these until you feel satisfied. So if you're doing a home practice, just do them until you don't feel like doing them anymore. So we're going to work on side bending. We're going to look over the right shoulder, roll the right shoulder back so that back shoulder blade slides down toward the hip, and lift or move that right hip towards that right shoulder. So you're opening up the left side of the body. Keep the belly slightly engaged so the back doesn't sag, looking over that shoulder. Inhale back to the center position, belly is engaged so the back doesn't sag. Exhale, look over the left shoulder, slide that left shoulder blade down towards that left hip. Draw the left hip toward the left side of your ribs. Look over that shoulder and inhale back to center. Go back and forth, exhaling and inhaling back to center. And exhaling, kind of squeezing like you're making a fist with the side of your waist. Inhaling back to center, exhaling, making a fist. If your wrists are starting to bother you, make sure that you're moving the pressure into the base of the thumb and index finger, away from the heel of the palm and away from the pinky side of the hand. One more on each side, or whenever you feel done. You don't have to do anything I say. You can do whatever works for you. And back to center. Let's take some weight off the wrist before we move on. Sit the hips back towards the heels. You can widen your knees a little bit more to do that. You can bring the forearms down, turn the palms up. You can make fists, open and close. You can draw your fingertips in towards your forearms and back out, in towards the forearms and back out. A little bit of stretch here. And then you can make circles with the wrist, one direction and the other. It takes a while to get your wrist used to the weight-bearing posture, but it's the big muscles of the chest and back that do most of the work, not the little muscles surrounding the wrist, the elbows, or even the shoulder joint. And let's come back to the all fours position. Hips directly over knees, wrists slightly forward of the shoulders. We're going to take a twist. This is going to use some muscular strength. Inhale here, and as you exhale, you're going to draw this right elbow back like you're drawing a bow, right? If you're going to shoot an arrow, pull the elbow back, turn the chest. This is a challenging one. You may need to widen your knees a little bit. Don't sit the hips back. And then if you'd like, you can reach that palm up. This is a big challenge for a lot of folks. You don't have to turn your head to look up at the ceiling. Just don't let your forehead drop lower than your chin. Keep the cervical spine as healthy as possible. Inhale here, exhale, bring that hand down. You may feel that this is challenging. You're building some strength, and it's great for your organs as well. Working on the other side. Now my left side, I'm going to pull my left elbow up, pulling the bow, turning my waist, and then if I want, reaching that left arm up to the sky. Good. Your hips are going to want to sit back. Keep them over the knees. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. Inhale here and exhale. You may notice that that particular movement, those twists, made you feel warmer. You might notice that. Twist increase the temperature in your body. It's a great thing. Let's try one more time on each side. You can always rest back whenever you need to for your wrists, okay? One more time on each side. We're going to pull that right elbow back, say, turn the chest, push away from the earth with that hand on the floor, and reach up. Great. Yes, this is a challenge, yeah? Inhale here, exhale, bring her down. Woo. Only do as much as you can do. If you can't twist very far, it's okay. Just do a little bit, that's fine. You can even put that upper hand on the hip or the side of the rib cage if you'd rather. Let's try the other side. Pull the left elbow, turn and open. Again, you may find this really difficult. You can place that hand on that hip if you do. And down. If you feel like you do one more on each side. Again, hand on the hip or up to the sky. You may notice the hips move a little bit, and that's okay if they do. So side to side, but not back further behind you. And then one more time on the other side, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, drop, elbow back, open up, breathe. And exhale. Great job. Go ahead and sit the hips back toward the heels. Woo! That can be really challenging. Very often underestimated twists. Give the wrists a break. You can widen your knees a little further apart. It's okay if you can't sit your hips all the way back to your heels. It's okay. Just do the best that you can. Widen your knees if you feel you need to. Let's reach the arms out in front. Give yourself a nice long stretch. We don't need to sink our chest between our upper arms. We can lift up on our fingertips, add a little bit more strength. We need a strong and supple back, so we'll work on a little bit more back bending here. Let's walk the fingertips off the right corner of our mat and keep stretching. You can bring your forearms down. I'm reaching my fingertips to the right corner of my mat. I could swing my left forearm and rest my forehead on my left forearm if I wanted to, or I can keep the palms and forearms on the floor, or I can keep the fingertips lifted. Really feel length through the left side of my waist, breathing into my left lung. Keep the head in a neutral position and walk back. Inhale here, exhale over to the opposite side. Again, you keep up on the fingertips, really stretching through that right side, or you can bring the forearms and hands down, relax a little bit more into it. You could even swing the left forearm through and place your head on your left forearm. A lot of options here. Take a few breaths. And back to the side. Let's come back to all fours. I'd like to do a little bit of back bending on the floor, just a bit. So stepping the knees back with the elbows nice and straight, the arms straight. We're going to slide the sides of the waist forward, holding the belly tight. This is a knee down plank pose. Notice how it feels. Turn the inner elbow creases to look at each other. Feel the belly. Keep the hips from dropping towards the floor. Keep them lifted just a bit. Feel the right and left sides of your rib cage come together. Building just a little abdominal strength. Inhale here. As you exhale, bend the elbows and lower down. You can go plop if you need to. That's okay. No big deal. Okay? So we're lying on the back. We're going to widen the thighs a little bit. At least hips width apart. Tops of the feet go down. This is some of my favorite ways to do back bending. Place the arms by your sides and look down at your mat. So your nose is maybe a ½ inch away from there. When we think about back bending here on our belly, we want to think about strengthening the muscles along the back of our spine. So we keep the tailbone and the hips relaxed and gentle, and we anchor down through the thigh bones instead, the tops of the feet. With your palms facing in towards your thighs and your face looking straight down, take an inhalation and begin to lift the chest away from the floor. Slide the shoulder blades down your back and towards the top of your pants. Keep the head nice and neutral. Arms are relaxed. You don't need to squeeze the fingers. Press down through the thigh bones a little bit. Notice what happens to the lower back. Inhale here, exhale lower. It's okay if you only come up an inch or so. It's quite all right. Let's try this with the lower body. Slight bend to the knees. We're going to lift the right leg off the floor just an inch, lifting from the very top of the thigh, and then lowering that leg down. Let's lift the left leg off the floor just an inch, lifting from the very top of the thigh. Foot is relaxed, knee is slightly bent, and lower. Now when we're ready, lift the chest, widening the front of the shoulder joints, drawing the shoulder blades down the back towards the back of your pants, and then gently, if you like, lift one leg off the floor just an inch from the upper thigh, maybe the other. Great job. Beautiful. Breathe. Think about that spine. Think about drawing all those muscles, drawing the shoulder blades down towards the back of the pants, feeling all the muscles strong along the back of the spine, and exhale, release. I'm going to do this in a little bit of a flow. On the next inhalation, lifting up through the chest, sliding the shoulder blades. On the next exhalation, lifting the legs just an inch or two from the top of the thighs. On the next inhalation, lift a little bit more, make a big smile out of your body. And then as you exhale, lower everything down. Just see if that works for you. Inhaling upper body. Exhaling, adding the legs. Inhaling, lift a little bit higher, both ends, and a smile. Exhale, lower. Keeping the head neutral, try it again. Inhale, upper. Exhale, lower. Inhale, smile, lift, lift, lift. And exhale, lower. And maybe just one more. Inhale and exhale and lift. Inhaling and exhaling. Now you can place your hands underneath your head. You can turn your head to the right or left, resting your cheek on the back of your hand. Let the body relax, wiggle out a little bit with the hips. As you lie on the floor, feel with each breath that your belly does a little push up against the ground. Focus on that a little bit. Then tucking the toes under. We're going to bring those hands underneath the shoulders. And on an exhalation, we're going to puff our belly or lift it up towards our spine to help us as we draw the elbows back behind us. Push back up into all fours. On an exhalation, puff the hips back. Gorgeous. Great job. So from the all fours position, we can do a couple cat-cows. Wrists a little bit forward, knees, hips width. Inhaling and exhaling to cat and cow. Just do a couple more. Notice how your spine is feeling. Get a little bit of back bending. Awesome. What we're going to do now is lie down on our backs on the mat. Right. Mentioned having a blanket nearby, so if you do have a blanket nearby, kind of put it next to you, over the side, a blanket or two. As you get ready to lie down on the mat, make sure that you ease yourself down a little bit at a time, come down on the forearms. When you come down on the forearms, think about your lowest back ribs. See if you can stretch them away from the back of your pants, then bring the rest of your back down. Gives you a little bit more length here in the spine. With the knees bent and the feet on the floor, walk the legs as far away from each other as they will go. Relax the arms out to the sides. Inhale here. Exhale, bring both wide knees to the left. Feel a big stretch on the front of the right hip and thigh. Feel the whole pelvis rock over to the side. Inhale, both knees up. Exhale them over to the other side. Feel the big stretch in the front of the left thigh and hip now. Feel the pelvis roll over. Do these a few more times at whatever speed or pace you like. Inhaling up and exhaling over. And inhaling up. Maybe you like to hold this stretch. It's called windshield wipers. You can see why by the position of your legs because they're wide apart and the knees are wide. What this does is it stretches the front of your hip and the front of your thigh. There are back bends that on the belly that include grabbing your ankle, right, making a bow shape or using a strap. Many ways to stretch the front of the hips and thighs. It's going back and forth. Really feel this. If you want to hold it, really hold it on each side. Go right ahead. If you do a lot of sitting, this is a great stretch to do. And then after you feel contented with the number of those that you did or the time that you spent there, I mentioned doing something a little bit more restorative. So you have a couple of options here. You can, if you have one blanket, you can place that blanket underneath your knees to stretch your legs out on the mat, have that blanket underneath the knees. I would roll over onto my sides. I would take the blanket, I would fold it up a bit, yeah, and then I would make it kind of like a roll, place it on the mat so that it's right behind my knees so my legs could rest. Also, if you want to try something a little bit more than that, you can take a blanket, fold it up and kind of squarish or rectangular, and you can place it on the mat going a long way. And you can snuggle that right up to the back of the hips. So it starts, you're not sitting on it, it's right the lower part of the back. And you can gently and gradually, like I mentioned before, lay down on it. This is going to give you a little bit more of a back bend. And then if you have a block or a pillow from the couch or another blanket, you can use that to make this, continuing with it, feeling of opening up the chest and the heart. If you don't find this comfortable with this blanket underneath your back like this, and you do not have to do this, you can take the blanket out and then just keep a blanket underneath the knees if that feels good. Once you find this resting position, palms turn up, shoulders relax, take a nice inhalation. As you exhale, let everything relax and go. Your toes will turn out, your knees will widen out. Closing the eyes. Again, it's you and your breath. Each inhalation and exhalation, an opportunity to let the mind rest upon the breath. Breath moving like a hammock, swinging out as we inhale, swinging in as we exhale. Our mind resting on the gentle sway of our breath. Noticing that at the very end of the exhale, there's a little gap, a rest, a stop. It's out of that small gap that the next inhalation arises. All on its own. Feeling the pause at the end of the next exhale. Feel the inhale naturally arise from that space. Our amazing body breathes on its own. Our remarkable mind rests on the wave of each breath. And the body relaxes and softens. Nothing to lean forward towards, nothing to reach back for. Let the muscles of the face and the jaw soften. Shoulders and arms release towards the earth. Soft belly. Feel the spine and the pelvis deepen, soften with the help of gravity. The heavy thighs, the rounded calves. Release, become heavy. The hands and feet are soft and light. In this constructive rest position, you are neither sleeping nor are you engaging with the world. You are settled in a place of gentle awareness, your mind lulled by the wave of your breath, the body relaxed. We don't need to underestimate the power of this constructive rest. Use it every day or as needed. So the mind and the body can rest. You can stay here and continue your Shavasana as long as you feel comfortable. Sometimes it's nice to have an extra blanket nearby to cover yourself with if you feel chilly in Shavasana. Gather your props around you anytime you wish to come to this place of constructive rest. Have some blankets, a few pillows. Build yourself a place to soften in awareness, release, relax. You can stay right where you are. If you want to come out, bend the knees, roll over onto your side, roll right off the blanket that you may have underneath your spine. Line your side for a breath or two. Always coming to the side after lying on the back, bringing the awareness back. Then we get ready to come up to seated. We want to use the muscles of the abdominals. So let's think about engaging the lower belly in towards the spine, placing the hands on the floor and pushing up, using the strength of the abdominals to help you. Awesome. You can come to seated on the mat, or you can just stay in that Shavasana for as long as it feels comfortable to you. That's an awesome place to be. You did a great job today. Taking that time to strengthen our back, keep it supple, and that time for constructive rest is important. There's always yoga. It's always a good time for yoga. I honor the divine teachers within all of you. May we all find peace, no matter what we are given. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining.